Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hey, welcome to today's episode, my friend. I find that one of the most confusing things for parents is trying to make sense, stay on top of, keep track of, understand our teens' moods. Can be very confusing, especially if you have a teenager that doesn't like to share what's going on in their life with you. For example, the other day, my teenager, who usually is pretty open, she just seemed really morose all weekend, and I didn't understand why she was so down and sad. And then I found out several days later when a certain somebody came up in conversation that there had been a falling out with this person that was really important to my teenager. And it all of a sudden just made so much more sense because it had gone down that weekend when I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. And they weren't disclosing what was going on. So today we're going to talk about understanding why our kids have mood swings, what they really mean, how to create a calm, peaceful environment, even when our teenagers can feel really unpredictable. I've had teenagers um, where there's eggshells all around them all day, every day. And it can be exhausting not feeling like you can relax, be yourself, say things without thinking twice about it constantly in your own home. Like, we're supposed to be able to relax in our own home, but oftentimes our kids like to pounce on us if they're in a bad mood for any little thing. And thus the eggshells. It just isn't fun. So let's talk about, first and foremost, why this happens. Again, I'm breaking the episode up into 3 portions: why mood swings are a thing, what they mean, and how to create peace in spite of it all. Okay? Why it happens. It's like a perfect storm. We have the physical factors that can come into place. If they're hangry, if they're tired, if puberty is messing with their hormones, all the different fluctuations in their bodies and brains, and then outside environmental stimulations. If somebody got mad at them, we have all the emotional distress, pressure from school, friendships, social media, the news, things that are upsetting them, and then environmental influences, right? Changes at home or in their peer groups. Things are happening around them that they feel scared, upset by, that they don't like what's happening. And all of these things affect us as well, but we've had decades of practice to understand that, oh, I should probably grab something to eat or have a rest before I have this important conversation or try to engage with people. We need to understand that mood swings are a natural part not only of adolescent development, but just being human. It's not a personal attack against you. Even if your teenager says, "You are so stupid," you wouldn't understand. They roll their eyes at you. You could be Mother Teresa and they would still be acting the same way. It has nothing to do with you. So, why it happens? Not you. You're not on that list. And we need to be able to not take these things personally because that's the first step in, number one, not walking on eggshells, and number two, helping to model for your child emotionally healthy coping mechanisms for their mood swings, because we all have it. I remember moving out of the house for the first time. I moved out with some of my good friends, and I shared a room with one particular friend, and we'd been friends for years, but we would fight, and it was not fun. And then one day we realized that our cycles were in sync and we would always fight the same few days before we would begin our cycle. And we're like, oh, we just need to avoid each other these few days every month. And when we figured that out, we got on so much better because we weren't annoying each other when we were both feeling a little more angsty and easily agitated. And so it worked for us. Step number one is to understand why this is happening, that it's not about us, so that we can alleviate eggshells and be more helpful. Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. All right, what it means, decoding their mood swings. I did a whole episode with Ashley Hudson on this, decoding our teenagers, but I want to take a slightly different spin in this episode. I understand how teen mood swings can affect the whole family really easily. They can create tension, fighting, disrupt routines, drive us a little bit wild, get us to lose our cool. But they're signals of underlying things that they're trying to deal with. Usually it's from some kind of root of fear or uncertainty. Something's changing. They're worried about something. They wonder if they're okay, if they're normal. A lot of times, like adolescence, I don't know if you remember, it can be really confusing. What is going on with my body? I'm growing so fast. Things are changing so rapidly. I'm having feelings and thoughts that I have never had before. And it can be really scary. And guess what people do when they're scared? They're really moody. They lash out. They withdraw. They get really loud and boisterous and hyperactive. I was at a rather solemn event with my sister, and she has a bunch of little boys, and one of her youngest was completely spazzing out. Now, at home, he's a pretty chill dude, but she turns to me and is so embarrassed and says, I don't know why in social settings he goes feral. Like, what is wrong with him? And in a stroke of brilliance, I was like, he's probably has social anxiety or doesn't know what to do in this type of setting because it doesn't happen that often. And he's the center of attention and he probably does not know what to do with himself. And he's spazzing out because he's confused, scared, a little put on the spot, and he just doesn't know what to do with himself. We want to understand what the underlying emotions are for our kid, not just angry, grumpy, annoying. There's something going on there. And that is what is driving that outward expression of moodiness. Now, these behaviors are tough, but they're not permanent, and they are part of a normal growing process. Even if your child is extreme with something diagnosable, guess what? That's still on the spectrum of normal, even when it's abnormal. There's a lot of abnormal. It's kind of normal. And so it doesn't have to mean anything. Another thing around what this means is oftentimes parents will take this personally. I am a bad parent because my child hates me and they're always mean to me. I am not meeting their needs. I have an unhappy child. I've done something wrong. They don't like me. All these different things that parents unjustly make their kids' mood swings mean. I promise their mood swings don't mean anything about you. accept that you're a safe spot for them to show how they really feel. Another thing that I often hear from parents is everybody tells me how great my kid is, but they are a bear to me, only me. Their coaches say how respectful they are. Their teachers say how bright they are. Their friends' parents say how kind and thoughtful and they always help put away dishes and blah, blah, blah. And my kid is a monster to me. This is a really great indicator of things like social fatigue. When your kid comes home from school and they've had to be good all day, and maybe things didn't go their way, people were unkind to them, they've bombed a test, they can finally just relax and let how they behave reflect how they feel inside. That's all it means. It's just a reflection of how they feel inside. And when we can shift our perspective and see their mood swings as communication rather than disrespect, rather than rebellion, rather than some kind of failure on your part, we immediately lessen that emotional toll that it takes on us because it's not about us. And instead of thinking, how can I get them to be nicer? How can I get them to not name call their little brother or stomp around the house, and instead shift that to what needs do they have that aren't being met? What's going on for them? What don't I understand in this situation? Then we can get to the last point that I want to make, which is how we can create more peace in our home despite our teenager feeling and thinking however they want. Number one is self-regulation. We need to be able to step away and not take it personally and stay calm in the situation. Things like breathing, tapping, pausing before we react, all those mindfulness techniques to stay centered, to stay grounded, to continue to make their mood about them and that it's not a problem. It's not a problem that they're angry. It's not a problem that they're frustrated. It's not a problem that they're upset. I can stay calm. Nothing has gone wrong. I promise when you can truly believe that nothing has gone wrong and this is simply your child learning how to be an adult, and it's like the messy beginnings of all of this, it provides so much peace and comfort. Then we can do number two, which is empathetic communication. Simple phrases acknowledging their feelings. Hey, you're upset. Do you want to talk about it? Instead of like, why are you so upset? What happened today? Can you feel the difference? Hey, looks like you've had a hard day. Can I make you a snack? Do you want to talk about it? I'm here for you. I love you. I don't care that you bombed a test. One of my favorite things, I have a child who's definitely very anxious, and she'll come home. In fact, this past weekend, she was taking the ACT prep at BYU just down the street. And she was like, Mom, the first day they took a practice test, the full 4-hour practice test of the ACT. And she's like, Mom, I did awful. And she said, will you still love me if I don't do as good as my older siblings who both got phenomenal ACT scores? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care what your ACT score is. Just comforting our child, because she was pretty upset, just comforting our child that we love them. It doesn't matter if they bombed a test, if they're scared, if somebody at school doesn't like them, if they didn't get into their college of their choice, literally whatever it is, if we can say, I don't care. I don't care that you wrecked the car. Are you safe? I don't care that you just lost your job or didn't make the team. Not a problem. I love you regardless of any of that other stuff. So empathetic communication. And then the third thing that we want to do is we want to teach boundaries with love. So boundaries are an if-then statement. And they're there to teach our child what's appropriate and what's not for protection and growth, not to control, not to punish or manipulate. So a boundary is if you continue to yell at me, I'm going to have to leave the room until we can both speak in rational ways. It's just an if then. And it's only about us, what we will do in a situation. It's not if you continue to yell, then you'll have to go to your room for the rest of the night. We can't really make a teenager go to their room anymore because 9 times out of 10, they're bigger than us. And so it's just if then for us, rules and consequences. If you continue to angry text me, then you're going to lose your phone for the week. Does that make sense? If you are bullying people on your phone, well, guess what? You're not going to have a phone. Any of those kinds of rules and consequences that are in our control. That's what a boundary is. If, then. And again, it's for protection, for mentoring, for growth. It is not to manipulate, control, or punish because nobody likes being treated that way. And you're going to emphasize their mood swings with that. Now, I will say this is like 2.0 level skill. When we begin to change things, when we do not engage in the way that our teenagers are used to having us engage. Because you know that we have these dances, right? They get home from school, they get snarky, they get rude, they get disrespectful, and we dial it up. We start yelling or we give in to whatever they want so that they'll stop yelling. Our teenager knows the dance that you do, okay? And when you change steps of the dance, which I have just taught you, they are going to be confused. And some of them might respond well and immediately change their steps to match yours. And that's awesome. But most of us are like, wait, this is usually where I get a rise out of you. This is usually how I get you to yell back so that I can feel better. Because oftentimes our emotions, or rather our teenagers' emotions, are kind of like a hot potato. And they don't like feeling them. So if they can get you really unsettled, then you're holding the hot potato for them and they can now relax. Kind of weird, but it's true. And so I don't know if you've ever noticed this. Like once your teenager gets you upset and yelling and freaking out, then they're like, geez, mom, what's your problem? And it's even more maddening. And so if your child is that child who likes to get you upset so that now you're upset for both of them, for both of you, here's what's going to happen. You're not going to do the dance. So they're going to double down. It's kind of like the science experiments with the rats and they press the lever and get the food. But all of a sudden they're not getting food. And so what does the rat do? They like start hitting the lever 10 times faster. Kind of like on a television remote when the battery has gone dead. And we're like, why won't the volume go up? We don't just think, I should charge this. No, we start pressing the volume button like 20 times to make sure that it doesn't work anymore. We know this is true. So just know, fair warning, that when you don't buy into their mood swing, they may or may not double down. Hold your ground. This is normal. Nothing has gone wrong. Teach them the steps to the new dance of peace and freedom, and you will be all set. Okay, my friend, before I go, I have a special invitation for you. If you've been a longtime listener of the podcast, you know that every summer I do a month long of coaching episodes. I do this for 2 reasons. Number 1, I like to take a month off in the summer. And number 2, I like to show you what coaching sounds like in real time. Now, I only invite people onto my show who are on my email list. The good news is it is very easy to get on my email list. You simply go to heatherfraser.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, pop in your first name and your email address, and boom, you're going to get emails from me. I email about once a week, and they are short, snippet, helpful, valuable things that you can tweak in your family life to make lasting improvements. I have so many great pen pals. People on my email list absolutely love the value that they get there. I do try to keep it short and sweet and really helpful. And also, they're the first people to know about summits that I'm participating in, where I'm speaking, book launches, all the things. So I invite you to be on my email list, number one, so that you're in the know. And number two, if you would like to come on and be coached in the summer, I am doing it the month of July. And there are 5 weeks, 5 Tuesdays. I drop a episode every Tuesday. There are 5 Tuesdays in July. And I haven't decided if I want to do 5 series with the same person so that you as a listener can see growth, or if I want 5 different parties and 5 completely different coaching sessions. I've done both in the past. All right, I'm rambling. But I would like to invite you to this once-a-year opportunity. Go put yourself on my email list, and in a few weeks, I'm going to be emailing out that opportunity. That's what I've got for you this week, and I will talk to you next time.
Heather is the one, an expert in the field. She knows her parenting stuff, including how confusing it can be. You've tried it all, and it's a lost cause. Crying in the closet 'cause you failed at being a mom. But think again, there's peace around the corner and there's hope in your hands. Your kid just wants your love and you want